guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw. I'm going to say right now, this week's Raw, so much better than last week's Raw. Still some kind of things, but you're going to get that on any show, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, AEW, whatever. So, as far as what I thought of tonight's Raw, I thought it was a pretty good episode of Raw. We built up towards the Royal Rumble. We got a match announced for the Rumble, more people announced for the Royal Rumble matches. We also learned, 3 matches for next week's show? Let me double check that really fast. I think it's 3 matches, but as I look at that, Luke, what'd you think of tonight's Monday Night Raw?
I thought it was a good show. Very productive as well. They did a good job of building towards stuff for next week's Raw. They announced, I'd say, a few more names for the Royal Rumble. But yeah, it was a good Raw. I enjoyed it.
I mean, biggest thing they announced tonight was Cody Rhodes is back in the Royal Rumble, so that's great to hear. But yeah, it's 3 matches announced for next week's show. It's Bayley, Becky in a cage. It's the Usos defending the Raw, not both, but the Raw tag team titles against Judgment Day. Austin Theory will defend the U.S. title against Bobby Lashley. And then we have the Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony, whatever the hell that's going to be. And then a bunch of legends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 legends so far announced for next week's show. So should be a good show next week. Hopefully it's better than this week. And a lot of people were saying going into Raw, there's a big playoff game tonight on Monday Night Football. Raw's going to get killed. I could see a lot of people switching off of that Monday Night Football game to go watch Monday Night Raw because, Tom Brady and the Bucs got blew out. Let me see. What's the final score of that game? Because that game had 3 minutes left right before we went live. That game ended. The Bucs scored again right there at the end. So last I checked, there was 3 minutes to go. Bucs did score again, but the Cowboys did win 31-14. Tom Brady and the Bucs eliminated from the playoffs. Oofa.
I totally forgot about that game. I didn't start watching until 20 minutes left of Raw.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. You didn't miss anything. There was one point Tom Brady was within I think 5 or 10 yards and just threw a pick. An easy pick for Dallas as well. It's almost just threw it to a Dallas player. I'm oh my. Anyways. With all of that, hopefully that game not being all that great of a game helps WWE as far as not hindering them as much in the ratings, but we'll find out that tomorrow because right now we're here to talk about tonight's show, and you can watch this and support us a couple of different ways. You can either watch live right here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, or you can watch or listen later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime because remember, if you either have Amazon Prime or access to somebody's Amazon Prime account, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff of 4 games, and they always give you 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also remember that you can support us over on YouTube by becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and so much more. Plus, you get all of our graphics packages going forward if you are a subscriber, either as a YouTube channel member or at patreon.com/PW Unlimited, where in 2 weeks, we'll have more graphics packages up for you guys because I'm going to release both in February, we're going to give you both of our Royal Rumble graphics and then the new graphics I've made for AEW Dynamite. I might do those at the end of January, the last week of January for the Dynamite graphics, and then the first week of January, I'll give you guys the Royal Rumble graphics. So keep an eye out for all of that. Because again, it's a way for me to give you guys stuff that nobody else is giving you. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse, use this code down here, PW Unlimited. Again, use code PW Unlimited at checkout for all Epic Games and Epic Games Store purchases. And you'll be supporting us at no extra cost to you. Also, one housekeeping note. The AEW Dynamite review is actually going to start late this Wednesday because I'm going to Dynamite in person, and they're also filming a Rampage. So even though the arena's with no traffic 15 minutes away from my house, I'm still going to stay for Rampage. So roughly an hour and a half after we normally start the Wednesday podcast is when this week's Wednesday podcast is going to start, just because I'm actually going to be there live. Going to stick around for the Rampage, and then who the hell knows how long it's going to take to get out of there and get home. So I'll, again, let you guys know beforehand as well on social media and on the YouTube community tab that it is going to start late, just so you guys don't forget. So you guys don't show up on Twitch and go, where are they at? They're not doing a podcast tonight? And then I get all the tweets of, why aren't you doing a live cast? Why aren't you doing a podcast? Why aren't you talking Dynamite? But that's the reason we're going to start late on Wednesday, because I will be there live. And yes, I will give spoilers for Rampage and my impressions on Rampage since I'm going to be there live. But I'll do that at the end of the show on Wednesday. So that way, if you don't want to know the spoilers, you could dip out early. But as far as tonight does go, we got Monday Night Raw to talk about that kicked off with the Usos and Solo Sikoa. I was shocked. No Sami Zayn. No Sami with the Usos and Solo. So they announced that next week, every generation of the Bloodline will be on Monday Night Raw, as they will be having a special acknowledgement ceremony for Roman Reigns. Now, the graphic itself only has, and I think I can pull this up on the screen easily, really quickly. Now, the graphic itself on the that they showed on Monday Night Raw, we could pull it up here. Don't know who that number is. So this graphic only shows Roman, the Usos, Sami, Solo, and Heyman. So in saying every generation, who knows who else that can be? Afasika, Rikishi, maybe some people of the family not in WWE, maybe Roman's kids. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see exactly what that means by every generation of the Bloodline will be on the show. They also acknowledged that they will be defending the Raw Tag Team Championships next week against the Judgment Day. And then on cue, out came Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley told the Bloodline that they run Monday Night Raw. Balor then thanks the ex-con Dom for taking care of business last week when he was injured, quote unquote. Damian Priest said that they would take the Raw Tag Team titles and bring them back to their show permanently. Priest then wondered why the Bloodline never stepped to the Judgment Day before, why they always invaded Raw but always avoided them. Dominic Mysterio said that, I know what it is. You guys are scared of us. Usos laughed at him, and Jimmy Uso mocked him and called him Little Machismo. The Usos then ran down every other team that they've beaten, including when they won the titles from Dominic and his father. Dominic said that they talked tough, but they wouldn't last 1 minute in a cell in jail, unlike him. Dom called them wannabes, and the biggest wannabe is actually Solo Sikoa. Sikoa then stood to Dom, but before he can do anything, Ripley would get in the way. Solo Sikoa and Rhea Ripley would go nose to nose, basically, but Solo wouldn't back down. Dom then hit him with the forearm. Solo then took one step back and dropped Dom. This led to a big old brawl where Ripley dared Solo to hit her again. It seemed like he was going to, when out of nowhere, Mustafa Ali would fly in the ring, like just coming out of nowhere. Great camera placement to not let us see that he's coming anywhere, having it tight on Solo. And then they start rolling around Mustafa Ali and Solo Sikoa. And then Corey Graves is like, this match is next. Solo Sikoa versus Mustafa Ali. We'll be right back. But I thought it was a good, productive opening to Raw. Luke, what did you think?
Again, I thought it was a good opening. So to go back to the acknowledgement ceremony, I honestly think there's a good chance we see Rikishi because he keeps teasing on social media saying like we the ones acknowledge us and stuff. So I think there's a good chance he shows up. And I already see Johnson 740 and Cincinnati saying Jacob Fatu. Please let it be Jacob.
Now, here's my question. Is he no longer signed to MLW? Because if he's signed to MLW, then I don't know what his contract. I don't think he's still signed to a MLW, but he might be. I'm trying to look something up really fast because that would be a cool one to see. But there's also others that they can use as well. I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. There was the rumor or in the report that WWE was interested in Hikuleo and interested in Tama Tonga. Their deals are up soon. We don't know how soon and if they're up yet. But what if one of them were to show up as well and make their debut?
I also have another question. Is Tama Tonga Loa's contract supposed to expire at the same time?
That I'm not sure because
I have a fantastic idea for all three of those guys in WWE.
Well, really quick, I'm not sure because all the reports have been Tama Tonga, Hikuleo. No one's been saying Tangaloa, so I don't know. Also, Jacob Fatu just worked MLW 2 weeks ago. I don't know if he's under contract or not, but he's working there regularly, and he did just work a big match 2 weeks ago. But what's your idea?
So what if WWE signs Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Hikuleo? You bring him in, you can do Tama Tonga versus AJ, and then maybe you can later on build them three guys against the OC at maybe Mania.
Here's the other thing you got, though. Also remember their tie-in with the Judgment Day and Finn Balor. Bullet Club. Tama Tonga and Finn, very close. So, what if they show up for this acknowledgement? And this is all just fantasy booking. There's probably no chance they show up next week. But what if they show up for the acknowledgement ceremony? You think, oh, they're part of the bloodline. Then they screw the Usos and join the Judgment Day in a Bullet Club reunion.
It wouldn't be terrible.
But your idea is not bad either as far as them just going up against the OC. OC needs more three-man groups. Well, I mean,
and it can also bring back the Tama Tonga Carl Anderson rivalry.
Right. That is true. So a lot of options, but I'm just not really sure what they're going to do. Because again, like they said, every generation of the bloodline. Okay. Alpha Sika Rikishi. I don't see why that wouldn't happen. But other generations, as far as they're a younger generation. I mean, unless they all bring their kids with them, but I don't know.
I think Rikishi is a pretty easy one, though.
Yeah. Well, same with Roman's dad and uncle, Alpha and Sika. They've appeared, so they've teased the whole bloodline lineage thing a lot. Alpha and Sika only ever showed up once. That's it. They put the lay on Roman and then never showed up again. That was pandemic era. As we move forward, we had Solo Sikoa versus Mustafa Ali. So the match started, I guess you could say, right before they went to break. That's how I timed it. So the match itself, 5.5 minutes or so. But there wasn't really much to it because we did see a lot of it during the break. So when we came back from that break, Solo Sikoa was firmly in control when the Usos decided to reappear and pose on the apron, causing a distraction. This would lead to Kevin Owens making his way out to the ring, who fought off Jimmy and Jay. The distraction allowed Ali to hit a tornado DDT and get a near fall. Sikoa then avoided a 450 splash, hit the Samoan spike, and picked up the pinfall victory. Again, not much really happened after that commercial, so really we didn't see a lot of this match, I don't think. Owens then immediately dropped Sikoa with a stunner. Owens put Sikoa on the announce table and was going to put him through it, but then the Usos attacked. There we go. Adam Pearce would run down. A bunch of officials would break them all apart. And then Owens just stood on the table and posed for the crowd. Thoughts?
I mean, the Solo Sikoa match, I mean, it wasn't much, really. It was just trying to, like, make Solo Sikoa, like, super strong by, like, squashing somebody. And in the Kevin Owens one, they're just trying to, like, make Kevin Owens look strong by trying to, like, fight off the Usos by himself. Like, when this is all happening, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been anyone else to, like, help back up KO. He's, like, all by himself.
Well, that's supposed to be the point, that he may only have one friend, and that one friend might be Sami Zayn. But the Usos and Roman and the Bloodline doesn't want Sami to eventually go over and help KO. So that's what the whole story is. He has no friends, but he might have one in Sami Zayn.
So maybe on Friday, like, Roman could, like, question Sami, like, hey, why weren't you with the Usos on Monday?
I can see that.
And then it could further, like, piss off Roman and maybe lead to Sami trying to help Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble.
Right.
So
as we move forward, Bobby Lashley said that he would put down 5 other men tonight with a hurt lock as he makes his way to the United States Championship. Because if you didn't know beforehand, which WWE, like, it's weird because they announced the Mustafa Ali match and they announced the Alpha Academy versus Judgment Day match on social media before Raw. They sent out the Raw email preview with no matches, and then just like right before Raw, put up this six-way match on their website. I didn't even see it on social media. I mean, I think it was maybe on Instagram, but Bobby Lashley says that he would win. We then got the best news of the night. We get a Cody Rhodes video, and we all think, okay, it's just going to be a Cody video. The same videos we've seen the last couple of weeks. Oh, hey, there's Brandy watching them do the surgery. Oh, there's Cody working out, and he's doing rehab. He can only 5-pound dumbbells, and he's looking miserable. But then at the end of this, we see Cody in his Nightmare Factory or Nightmare Family tracksuit, and he says the line, "At the Rumble, I'm back." Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves go nuts over this. They just lose their shit. And it is officially announced that Cody Rhodes will be in the Men's Royal Rumble match. I'm all for it. And this is what we all expected. Cody coming back for the Rumble. I don't know exactly how long Cody's been cleared for. We do know back in December, he was at the PC training with Carmelo Hayes and Joe Gacy. So I assume maybe right around then, mid to late December, is possibly when he got cleared. But Cody, for all we know, is 100% cleared, or else they wouldn't announce him for the Rumble. So Cody's going to be in the Rumble. I can't wait. Cody's the favorite to win the Rumble, and I think there's a lot of rumors that I'm not going to get on right now about what he can be doing if he does win the Rumble, because there's still a lot of unknowns with the top tier spots at WrestleMania this year.
So, yeah, we all knew Cody was going to be in the Rumble, but the question was, do they, like, announce it now, or do they wait for it to, like, be a potential, like, surprise so there can be, like, a big pop for his return? I still think there'll be a big pop because, I mean, people love Cody. Honestly, here's one idea. Maybe have him go in at, like, 1 or 2, and then maybe him at 1, or maybe, like, Seth at 2, so maybe we can do a little bit of a, like, reunion rivalry type of thing.
Not a bad idea. Have Cody,
kind of like they did with last.
Go for it.
Kind of like they did with last year with AJ and Shinsuke. They had them both go at 1 and 2.
Right. So I know I was told about 3 weeks ago that Cody was expected for the Raw 30 show. So maybe that's still going to happen. That is the go home for Royal Rumble. So we'll see if Cody does show up next week on Raw or not.
And if he does show up, then he wouldn't, like, technically be returned to WWE at the Royal Rumble. So,
well, his in-ring return.
In-ring return, yes, but they're saying, like, his, like, big return though.
Right, I get what you're saying.
Which return?
True.
Like, return, that could be like anything. Like, just simply just returning or returning to in-ring action.
We go backstage, and Elias is speaking with Byron Saxton about the Royal Rumble. MVP would then appear and warned Elias not to enter the Rumble because the winner has already been determined. Elias thought MVP was talking about himself and told him that he hasn't been relevant in years. MVP offered Elias a match against the eventual winner, and Elias accepted, again, thinking he's going to face MVP. We then see Angelo Dawkins and the Street Profits. It was Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford entering, with Dawkins wearing a Cincinnati Bengals jersey. He was at the game there last night. So we have Street Profits versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Match goes 9 minutes and 16 seconds, and I'm just saying right now, Hurt Business is coming back. Teases here, teases later, teases in the main event. So Hurt Business is coming back. Omos looks like he's being added to the Hurt Business as well. I'm all for it. I was always a big fan. Yeah.
I'm honestly okay with adding Omos in the Hurt Business. I'm okay with it. I honestly don't know why they broke up the Hurt Business.
It was a Vince call.
Maybe it was because they were over so well with the fans, and it's all right, we gotta break them up now.
Vince thought they ran their course. Vince thought there was not much more to do with the group. That's the word. Trust me.
It kind of screwed over Shelton and Cedric, though.
100%. And I had heard multiple times, Bobby and MVP both went to Vince on multiple occasions being like, why are you breaking this up? Why are you breaking this up? And then also, hey, any chance on maybe reforming? And Vince was always like, nope, I made my decision already. So
I heard when Triple H came back, one of them was really pushing to bring back the Hurt Business. And,
MVP.
Fans kept saying bring back the Hurt Business, bring it back.
Yep. So Dawkins gave Benjamin a spine buster early on, and Ford hit a frog splash, but Alexander broke up the cover. Benjamin suplexed Ford off the top, but Dawkins broke up a pin there. Ford then wiped out Benjamin with a dive before Alexander wiped out Ford with a suicide dive. We saw MVP walk out as well. That then led to Dawkins taking everybody out with a flip dive. Dawkins then hit a spinning stinger splash in the corner. MVP was, I guess, supposed to yank Cedric Alexander out of the way, and he was just a little late. So, he still pulled him out of the corner per se, but he still got hit, kind of. This was a little clunky. MVP still distracted the referee, allowing Benjamin and Alexander to double team on Dawkins. Alexander then hit a knee strike and seemed to have the match all but won. But Dawkins countered his cover into a cradle and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So there we go. Street Profits defeat Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And then after the match, they start yelling at MVP, saying, hey, you screwed us. You messed us up. You got in the way. And blah, blah, blah. So, there's the hints of the Hurt Business getting back together. But then the Cedric and Shelton yelling at MVP and them arguing after is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. And, they were doing something with, both Cedric and, Shelton as, singles guys for a little bit. And then they kind of, randomly put them back together. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they, finally put them back together. Honestly, I'm glad they're finally, doing this in a week's build up and not just randomly putting them back together on an episode of Raw where people's oh, the Hurt Business is back. I'm glad that they're doing it building it up in weeks though.
Very true.
Kind of like when Nikki Cross returned her her psycho gimmick. It just randomly kind of happened.
Well, I forgot to mention when they were after the Cody video and they go back to commentary. And Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick are talking about, oh, Cody's coming back. Nikki Cross was behind them in the crowd, kind of just looking weird. So they're still doing something with her.
I think there's a good chance we see Sanity back in WWE.
I mean, there's that rumor that they're signing Eric Young, so why not?
And I think it would be pretty easy to bring back Big Damo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he would want to come back.
Right. we go to the back. Kathy Kelly interviewing the Judgment Day. They kind of just ramble for a while. Finn talks about why he thinks he's going to win the main event and this and that. And then up would come Chad Gable and Otis. They basically told Kathy Kelly to get, and she's like, yeah, screw this. I don't need to be here. And she just walks off. So Chad Gable said that last week you didn't run through all the teams. You should have been medically disqualified when you couldn't compete in that final match against us. Dom then bragged about being in prison and lifting weights in the yard. Gable kind of laughed. Gable told Dom that it was no surprise he wound up on the wrong side of the tracks of the criminal justice system, and told him that he needs a strong mind to go with a strong body, but it appears that Dom has neither of those at all. Gable then told Dom that if he wound up in prison again, he should take an online Alpha Academy course. Dom then told Gable, quote, "You don't even want to know what they do to guys like you in prison." Gable kind of got offended, and then Priest was like, "Hey, we'll take care of you in the ring. Get to walking before you don't even make it to the ring." And Gable goes, "Walking? Good idea. Otis still needs to get his steps in for the day. We'll see you later." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Then we got Becky Lynch and Bayley. This started off a little weird, but it was fine. So they play Becky's music, and they're looking at the ramp, and they're looking at the top, and like no one's coming out. And I'm like, so is Bayley gonna come out and be like, "Ha, I got you. I screwed you all. You thought Becky was coming in?" Nope. All of a sudden we hear, "The man has come around," and the camera pans, woof, and Becky's coming through the crowd. So it's like, oh, that's her new thing. She's Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. She comes through the crowd now. So she comes down to the ring, and basically she was just like, "So I hear Bayley's talking a lot of crap. Why don't you come out and say it to my face?" And Bayley doesn't come out. She goes, "Hey, Karen, what are you waiting for? You back there yelling at a manager or something?" Bayley eventually comes out wearing a San Francisco 49ers jersey, and she's like, "Baby, I don't know who you're talking to this Karen, but my name's Bayley, just like her name is Iyo and her name is Dakota." And Becky goes, "I didn't call you Karen. I said you are a Karen." Or maybe like this crowd says, "You're a boo." And Bayley's kind of still just like, okay, whatever. And so she gets in the ring. Bayley also asked the crowd to shush, please. Bayley gets in the ring and claimed, "I got friends, you don't. No one's here to help you." Lynch then called Bayley a sore dope with a goofy looking haircut who peaked all the way back in 2015. She also said she had a kumquat ass. Bayley whined about Lynch taking her spot, stating that I was the more successful one. I should have been in that that WrestleMania match. I should have been called up with the other horsewomen. You took my spot. Lynch was like, "I thought you wanted to stay back in NXT. I thought you wanted to help the younger crowd. I thought you wanted to be the champion there. And maybe they called me up because they saw more in me than they actually saw in you." And she said that they wanted Bayley in NXT because she liked to be the focal point in the spotlight and not just another person, which was kind of weird of a line because she's like, "You stayed in NXT to be the focal point in the spotlight, not to just come up and be on this roster," which is like, oh, so it was Becky saying that when she got called up, she was just another girl that didn't matter. That was kind of weird of a line. Lynch then,
Yeah, I didn't really.
go for it.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that, but there was another line that I really didn't understand, but we'll get to that later. But you can continue.
Apparently in the post, I'll get to this in a second. It's football related, but it's kind of interesting since we kind of touched on it earlier. So Becky Lynch said that she wasn't supposed to be the man, that she became the man. And Bayley goes, "Yeah, after someone we're not going to name punched you in the face." And Becky's like, "Oh, you want me to punch you in the face right now?" And they kind of look at each other, and Bayley whines and moans. And Becky's like, "Yeah, look." And so Bayley takes a step back. Dakota and Iyo take a step forward. So look, you got to put them between us. You can't just fight me and you. You can't just stand here, me and you. Bayley's like, "Yes, I can. And so she steps back forward again. Becky then goes, how about you fight me next week? Just you and me, not them. Bayley's like, okay. She goes, but also steel cage. Bayley kind of pauses for a second. And she's like, okay. And Becky goes, you don't sound too confident in that. But we'll do it. It's official. We're doing it next week. You, me, steel cage. So there we go. Go for it.
There was something that I think Becky said like you were part of like the 4 horsewomen, but then you brought in these 2 random like people to form your own like random faction. To me, did Becky say that Bayley formed a low budget like 4 horsewomen?
Well, yes. Basically what she was saying was Bayley's afraid to be alone. Bayley's afraid to be on her own. Bayley always needs somebody there with her to help her because she's basically trying to tell Bayley, you don't have the confidence to be successful by yourself. I think that's what that was supposed to be getting at. Which, I mean, yes and no is true. Bayley's a 5-time champ on the main roster. Some of that was when she was with Sasha. But most of that was when she was by herself. So, yeah.
Bang said Becky took longer to connect with the crowd than it took Bayley, despite being called up first.
I mean, yes and no. I could see that.
I mean, Bayley had more success in NXT than Becky. I mean, when Becky got called up, I mean, she didn't really do a whole lot in NXT.
Well, that's what Bayley was trying to get at in her part of the promo. But Bayley also Bayley fell off a little bit. But Bayley, that's what she was trying to convey. I was more successful in NXT, yet they called you up instead of me. That's basically what she was trying to say. Early on in our careers, I was the more successful one. So in the back, Mustafa Ali approaches Dolph Ziggler. And Ziggler told him that he didn't have time for him today. And Ali was like, oh, so you say you don't care about this, you don't care about that, but you're going to go be in this main event to try and get the U.S. title? And oh, whatever. You screwed me out of the U.S. title. Maybe I'll screw you out of the U.S. title. He then punches him in the face and says, you got my attention now? And we just leave it at that. So, okay. I guess eventually
Where's this leading?
Probably just a random Ali versus Ziggler match. Nothing special.
I'm honestly kind of confused what they're doing with Ali. They had him do some random thing with the U.S. title where he was trying to demand a shot but didn't get it. Now they're having him do this with the Ziggler.
Heck,
like what?
This could all just lead to simply Ali eliminates Ziggler from the Rumble. It could be just as simple as that. Building this up, and then Ali feels good about himself because he eliminated Dolph.
I'll say I don't even know what they're doing with Ali now.
No one does. I don't even know if they do. So moving forward, Elias was in the ring ready for his match with who he thought would be MVP, but it wasn't MVP. MVP said, you're not facing me. You're facing the eventual winner of the 2023 Royal Rumble, this man. And out would come Omos, who we haven't seen in a while. Last time Omos had a match was... Omos's last match was... on television, that is, because he's been working live events. But we haven't seen Omos on actual TV since November 21st when he defeated Johnny Gargano. So it's been a while since we've actually seen Omos on television.
I mean, I kind of knew Omos was going to show up. I knew it wasn't going to be Bobby because Bobby has a match.
Yep.
And it's the same with Cedric and Shelton, so it was pretty obvious it was going to be Bobby. I mean, Omos. Sorry.
Mr. Banks says, I can't remember what Becky really had going before she came up as the man. Well, she was before she was, quote, the man, she was the first, quote, SmackDown Women's Champion. She had that a couple of times, so.
And she was also part of, like, PCB as well.
Yeah, but that stuff with the Bella's got a faction and Team Bad and Team PCB never really went anywhere, to be honest.
I mean, I remember it just built to like a kind of like a triple threat match not like a triple like threat tag team match, but like just a regular like triple threat like singles match at
Honestly, what it really,
Battleground, I believe.
I believe so as well. But what it really just led to was Paige versus Charlotte and Paige bringing up Reed and stuff. Really. Also, we talked about that football game earlier. According to a couple different reports, the Bucks have fired their offensive coach, and Tom Brady in the post-game press conference basically said, "I love the organization. It's a great place to be. Thank you everybody for welcoming me. Just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave it back to you guys." Some think that he basically there said, "I'm done with the Bucks."
I'd say his best two options would be the 49ers or back to New England for one more year.
Maybe. I know he grew up in Northern California and has always wanted to play for the 49ers, so I could see it.
I mean, Niners, they got best offensive defense. I mean, he's got good weapons there, so.
Yeah, but they do have 2, if not 3 quarterbacks already. Like, they've got Brock Purdy playing fan-frickin-tastic. They've got Trey Lance, who's going to be ready by next year. They've got Garoppolo and whatever they're going to do with him. So, I mean,
Well,
go for it.
Garoppolo's going to be on an expiring contract,
True.
so they don't have to re-sign him or anything.
Yeah, you're right there.
I mean, Trey Lance, it'll suck for him though because he never got like an actual like shot though because he got injured.
I think he's screwed anyways because Brock Purdy is already playing better than he did in the 2 games he played in.
Yeah, and it would kind of suck for Brock Purdy as well.
So that'll be an interesting one to watch over the next, 8 months? So we'll see where all that goes. I know it's going to be a big topic of discussion here because there's so many people where I live that are 49er fans.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he retired because he has that big commentating deal with Fox, I believe.
The rumor was he only came back and did the third year with Tampa so that he can then go do 1 year as a 49er. They weren't going to let him out early to do it this year. He would have to finish the contract, and then he can go and play in San Francisco if that's what he wanted to do. That was the rumor of why he retired and then all of a sudden unretired. But back to Raw. Omos and Elias. It went 2.5 minutes. Omos destroyed him. Nothing really happened. Elias tried to use the guitar. He didn't use the guitar. He got headbutted. He got slammed. He got pinned. Nothing to it at all. As we move forward, it was officially announced that Omos will be entering into the Royal Rumble. Byron Saxton then asked Adam Pearce for a preview regarding next week's Raw 30 special. Pearce says, "I can't really give away too many specifics, but I'm going to tell you it's going to be big." In would then come Akira Tazawa. And this is just so... I talked about this a couple weeks ago with Ricochet, and I'm going to talk about it again with Tazawa. Tazawa says, "I want to be in the Rumble." And Adam Pearce goes, "Well, I can't just put you in the Rumble. You've got to earn it." And I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me. I'm going to pull up a graphic right here to show all the men that are so far announced for the Royal Rumble. And then tell me how many of these guys actually earned it. Actually had to have a match to earn it. Cody, take that out because, well, he's coming back from injury. Austin Theory, I guess you could say he doesn't have to earn it. He's a champion. Gunther, I guess you could say he doesn't have to earn it. He's a champion. Ray, what? What'd Ray do? I guess what? Former WWE champion, he's in. Kofi, current NXT Tag Team champion, former WWE champion, whatever. Here's one. Baron Corbin. What'd this bloke do to earn a spot in the Rumble? Nothing. Ricochet beat Top Dollar in a qualifying match. Santos Escobar. You know what he did to get in the Rumble? Said, "I want to go in the Rumble just to eliminate Rey Mysterio." Didn't do diddly squat. Omos. What? Beating Elias means he's in the Rumble? Okay, whatever. Bobby Lashley. Didn't do nothing to get in the Rumble. I guess you could say former WWE champion, prerequisite. Seth Rollins. Didn't do anything to get in the Rumble, former WWE champion. My whole point is, how are you going to tell some guys, it's inconsistency. How are you going to tell some guys, You can't be in the Rumble because I can't just give you a spot. You got to earn it. But then other guys just get placed. You've got 30 freaking spots. It ain't like it's a 10, 15 person Rumble. No, you got plenty of spots to just randomly add people. Because I bet you by the time the Rumble comes, we're going to know about like 18 to 20. There's still going to be 10 open slots and go, oh, well, they didn't fill them. And then randomly people are going to get added. So I hate the whole, I can't give you a spot, you have to earn it, when you have half of the guys right now that didn't have to earn it.
Yeah, all that doesn't really make sense. And Hot Rod Bubba says Tom Brady will go to the Cowboys. Keep dreaming.
No.
He ain't going to the Cowboys.
So here's what makes this even worse. Tazawa then says, give me a match to earn it. And Adam Pearce literally says, well, I can, but even in winning, it's not going to guarantee you a spot, but it would help your case. What the? Are you fucking kidding me? So stupid.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Not at all.
Helps your case what?
Yeah, like is there a committee that votes on who gets in the Rumble? And so if you pick up a couple wins beforehand, it makes you look better to said committee or something? I don't freaking know. But another match, though. It was an 11-minute match. Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio against the Alpha Academy. I liked this match. We've seen it before, but I still like this match. Early on, Gable gave Dominic a diving headbutt halfway across the ring, and they made the hot tag to Otis. Crowd went nuts for Otis. Like, they're turning on these guys, and they're liking Alpha Academy now. They're slowly, in the fans' eyes, turning babyface. Well, it also doesn't hurt when Otis does the worm again, because he hadn't done that in a while. Anyways, Priest booted Otis, but Otis came back with the world's strongest slam for a near fall. Otis then gave Priest the caterpillar. Dominic then tried and failed to attack Gable, but the distraction allowed Priest to chokeslam Otis off the middle rope before Gable gave Priest a Chaos Theory suplex. Dominic then tried to catch Gable with a surprise schoolboy, but Gable countered with an ankle lock. The crowd then cheered because they wanted Dom to tap out, but a distraction by Ripley and Balor allowed Priest to chokeslam Gable. Dominic then rolled on top of Gable and picked up the victory. Basically, he just like fell on him and then pinned him. Kind of a crappy finish.
I mean, this was literally just a match that had Judgment Day look good against the Usos. They were saying, like, we need to have these guys pick up a win, so let's do former tag champions Alpha Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
go for it.
Here, like, when they said, we're going to be challenging you for, like, the Raw tag team titles, does that mean they'll actually win the belts and they'll have them defend the SmackDown titles at Mania?
So, on SmackDown, it was announced that they will be doing a tag team tournament on SmackDown starting this week, with the winners getting a SmackDown tag team title shot against the Usos. So they're trying to tell us that they want to split the belts, but I don't think the Usos should be losing until Mania, especially if the rumor is true of them getting challenged by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I don't want the Usos getting beat at all before that match.
Here's a good idea. Maybe have like Kevin Owens and Sami like screw over the Usos in their like Raw tag team title match, so that way it can help like build up their SmackDown tag team title match at Mania if that's the route they're going.
So the one problem with that is this Raw tag team title match is next week. So yes, you can have Owens do that, but Sami, I don't think is going to be split from the Bloodline before next week.
I mean, it doesn't have to be against Judgment Day. It can be someone else before Mania.
True.
Maybe, like, for example, maybe the OC.
Then we got a Martin Luther King Jr. tribute video set to the song Never Break by John Legend. We then had Michin or Mia Yim or Mia Michi Yim. I don't even fucking know what to call her. Because when she got announced, Mike Rome said, Michin, Mia Yim. But through the entire match, Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick just called her Meechin. Meechin. So
even on the graphic, it said just Meechin.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what. Go for it.
I have no problem Meechin like being her nickname. Like, it's cool. It means crazy, but it's just so confusing. Like,
Yeah.
is this gonna be like her name change, or are they just gonna, or is Meechin just gonna be like her straight up nickname?
Well, if we look at WWE's website, WWE.com still has her listed as Mia Yim, not Meechin. They at one point had changed the name to Meechin, but it's back to just Mia Yim. As far as this match does go, she took on Iyo Sky. She had Candice LeRae in her corner. Iyo had Dakota Kai. Match went 4.5 minutes. Early on, they went back and forth with some shots. Yim went for the eat defeat, but stopped what she was doing when Dakota Kai jumped up on the apron. LeRae then yanked her down, and Sky drop-kicked LeRae. This allowed Yim to hit the eat defeat and pin Iyo Sky to pick up the victory. I think this is probably going to end up leading to like Mia and Candice challenging for the tag titles.
I mean, wouldn't be a terrible idea, but kind of want Indy Hartwell and Candice to challenge for those tag titles, though.
Eventually. I think eventually.
I mean, maybe that's something they could do at Mania or something, or Elimination Chamber.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, I think Candice should be the person to like help take the titles off of Damage Control, because they keep like having Candice like in this like rivalry with Damage Control. Like, Damage Control, they keep attacking Candice, so I think maybe Candice and someone else should be the ones to take the titles off of Damage Control.
So Mr. Banks says, it's an odd name, I gotta say. So the word Meechin means crazy in Korean, and that was her nickname as a child. Her mom used to call her that all the time. So that's where it comes from.
I think it's odd at all.
Yeah. I mean, if you know where it comes from, then no. Because if you just see the word Meechin, you're like, what the hell is that? So we then got an Alexa Bliss Uncle Howdy video package. They then ran down the card for the Royal Rumble, and then out would come Bianca Belair. Bianca got a good reaction from the crowd in Cincinnati, and Belair said that she's only been out a couple of weeks, but she really missed the live crowd. She knew that this job had some risks, like getting your face smashed against the steel steps. But despite that, Belair would happily face Alexa again and again and again and again and again. She stated that because with any risk, the reward of being Raw's Women's Champion is better than those said risk. Belair then called out Bliss, where Bliss would come out and state, quote, "You fear me because you don't know what to expect from me, and no one does." Bliss was about to speak about the Royal Rumble. She's like, and then a week from this Saturday is the Royal Rumble match where, and Belair's like, excuse me? You want to enter the Rumble? Well, how about you don't have to enter the Rumble, and I'll just give you a title shot at the Rumble. She's like, I want to fight you. I'm going to put my title on the line. Let's do it. So Bianca gets out of the ring and goes, but we don't have to wait for the Rumble. Let's do it tonight, right now. And then the two start brawling in the aisle. They brawl in the aisle. They brawl into the crowd. And if I was there live, I would have been pissed. Because, I mean, yes and no. Uncle Howdy appeared. But if you were there live, you probably couldn't even see him. Because. So they're fighting in the crowd, right? And there's like an entryway at one point. I don't know where this leads to. Maybe this leads to the locker room area. Maybe this leads to the concourse to leave the building. I don't know. I don't think it's any kind of an entrance for fans, because they had the fog machine and the Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy lights. And like this little tunnel went back a ways. And all of a sudden, if you're not paying attention, you don't see anything. But if you're paying enough attention, you just see some guy standing there posing, and it's Uncle Howdy as Alexa all of a sudden goes crazy. And I'm like, man, What the kind of shit is this? This is stupid. Got Uncle Howdy in a tunnel. If you're there live, you don't even get to see it. So what? You got to look up on the Jumbotron and hope they caught it right. So yeah, I thought this was dumb. Alexa then DDTs Bianca on the concrete, and that's where the segment ends.
I mean, it was kind of a weird spot for Uncle Howdy. I mean, you couldn't just do it like regularly, like through the entrance.
I mean,
I get it. They're trying to do something different, but
well, no. Here's the thing: if he did it through the entrance, because they didn't play no music, lights didn't go down, no nothing. He just appeared there in the shadows. So if they did the same thing, then the whole, if I'm trying to defend this, why they didn't have him just come out on the stage would have been Alexa wouldn't have saw him. Alexa wouldn't have all of a sudden gone crazy and hit that DDT. So with him standing right there, somewhat, Bliss saw him. Bliss went crazy. Bliss hit the DDT. That's the only way you can justify it. But if you're there live, you're probably like, hey, what the hell? I didn't even get to see it. Or give me Bo Dallas, because I'm going to say right now, it's Bo. Bo was there backstage. Why would he be there? It's Bo. Also, go for it.
I mean, even if it is Bo, like they're not going to reveal it's him. They're just going to keep saying like Uncle Howdy and stuff.
Right, and the rumor right now is Bray versus Uncle Howdy at Mania.
Wouldn't be terrible.
No, not at all.
I know a lot of people were kind of hoping maybe Bray versus Karrion Kross at Mania.
That wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't hate it.
I mean, you got to do something with Kross at Mania. I know because I remember people kept tweeting when Bray first returned to WWE, people kept saying, oh, could we see Bray versus Karrion Kross at Mania? Or maybe before Mania?
Right. Moving forward, Tazawa did end up getting a match, but his match was against Bronson Reed. Match went 4.5 minutes. Well, just shy of 4.5 minutes. This was basically just a, hey, in case you haven't seen this guy before, here's how great this Bronson Reed is. Showcase match for sure. So we tried to, Tazawa that is. Had some flashes of offenses early on with a suicide dive. He tried to senton off the apron, but Reed caught him and powerbombed him on the edge of the barricade, which looked like it hurt. Reed then hit a running shoulder tackle off the apron, and Tazawa took a big bump. Reed then finishes off with a tsunami to pick up the victory in the ring. Not much to it at all. From the back, Byron Saxton interviewed Seth Rollins, who cut a very Seth Rollins-like promo. Rollins focused on the Rumble, but WWE officials said that I was focused on the Rumble, but then, WWE officials had to call me and say, oh, Seth, we need somebody with a great, big name, somebody popular to be in the main event of Raw, so why not you be in the main event of Raw? He said he was happy to do so in Cincinnati, a town that loves to party and sing his song. He said that he would win tonight. He would then win the U.S. title. He would then win the Royal Rumble. He would then beat Roman Reigns and become the champion at WrestleMania. We got some stuff announced for next week's show. We kind of already talked about it, but I'll hit it really fast. Steel cage match, Becky Lynch versus Bayley. The Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony with Roman Reigns. The Raw Tag Team titles will be on the line next week with the Usos defending against Judgment Day. The United States Championship will be on the line tonight with Austin Theory defends against the eventual winner of the main event, Bobby Lashley. And a bunch of legends are appearing, including Undertaker, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Nikki and Brie Bella, Teddy Long, who, to me, I always think of SmackDown when I think of Teddy Long. Anyways, Jerry the King Lawler, Ron Simmons, Sean Waltman, and the Road Dogg. Interestingly, I had heard Kane was supposed to be on this, but no announcement of Kane. So we'll see if he actually shows up next week or not. Mr. Banks says, where's Raw next week? Philadelphia.
If it's in Philly, I don't know why Kane would be there, because I know he's the mayor of Oxford, Tennessee.
Yeah. So
is it Oxford?
Knox County, Tennessee.
Oh, Knox County. God.
It's always weird because you never think of having a mayor of a county. Like, the city is Knox County, which is just weird in itself, but yeah.
Kid Vicious, no, I did not watch that first episode of Raw 30 years ago.
Yeah, no, me neither, because I was like 3.
I wasn't even born then.
I've seen it a bunch of times since, but no, I did not watch it when it first aired. Honestly,
Hey, I haven't seen it yet, like on YouTube or anything. I probably should. But...
yeah, you watch it on the WWE Network or Peacock, whatever you. But no, honestly, I like knew of wrestling growing up, but didn't become a fan until I was like 8.5, 9. So yeah, I really didn't like find it. Like, I knew it because my grandfather always watched it, so I knew of it, but never really paid attention to it because I would only see it a couple times a year when we go visit my grandparents because they live 4 hours away. And so, like, my grandfather would watch it. But then I've told the story a bunch of times. New kid moves in across the street, says, hey, come over, hang out. I'm going to watch the show. I said, what's the show? He said, Monday Night Raw. I said, what is that? First match I see is the Hardys against the APA, and I haven't stopped watching since.
Mine's a little different, though.
Go for it.
So I was like in 3rd grade. We went to GameStop because my brother had a gift card, and they had WWE All-Stars. Like,
oh, wow.
As a display. Like, you can, like, play the demo and stuff. So I played that, and I liked the game. And then next time we went there, I got the game because I ended up having either enough money or I had a gift card.
Huh.
So I just, like, got the game. That was a great game when I was younger. I liked it. But then I was like, all right, I'm going to start watching wrestling. See, like, if any of these guys are still wrestling, even though, like, half of them weren't. But no, I just fell in love with it ever since. That I eventually got 2K12, and yeah.
Damn. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So, we go into our main event. It's a 6-pack challenge. I thought it was interesting. I forgot to mention this. When Kathy Kelly asked Finn about the main event, she was like, so, what are your thoughts on the elimination elimination 6-way later on tonight? And Finn laughs and goes, ha! Kathy, you mean the 6-pack challenge? I don't know why he said that, but the way he just said it popped me a little bit. Anyways, this match saw Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin. All eliminations were done by Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. Seth had 3 eliminations. Bobby had 2, the final 2. I think it was the final 2. But as far as the match does go, there's about, I want to say 15, 16 minutes. No. Yeah. There were between like 15 and 17 minutes left in the show when the match actually started. Less than 20 minutes, I know that. There was a Tower of Doom spot fairly early, which saw Lashley conveniently powerbomb Balor, Corbin, and Rollins. Ziggler gave Lashley a famouser, and Miz hit a skull crushing finale, but Lashley kicked out. Miz put Ziggler in the figure 4, but Ziggler turned it, and Rollins gave Miz a stomp to pin him about 8 minutes and 45 seconds into the match. Rollins then took out Corbin and Lashley with a suicide dive. Balor took out all 3 men with a flip dive, and Ziggler took out all 4 men with a dive off the top. Ziggler then superkicked Corbin and gave Lashley a zigzag and superkicked Balor out of midair. However, Rollins would jump in, gave Ziggler a pedigree, and pinned him to eliminate him 6 minutes and 16 minutes or so. No, at the 12-minute mark. So Lashley then beat everybody up and gave Rollins a Dominator for a 2. Lashley gave Balor a delayed vertical suplex and set up the Hurt Lock, but stopped for some reason when he saw Omos and MVP enter the arena. Corbin and Rollins took each other out while Balor gave Lashley a dropkick and a coup de grace. Before Balor could go for the cover, Rollins flew in with the stomp and pinned him. For some reason, I stopped counting the time here, so I don't know exactly what time it was when Balor got eliminated. So Omos would then get involved, and he chucked Rollins over the announce table. And if you wonder why this wasn't a DQ, who are you going to DQ? There's still multiple men left in the match. Omos. So Corbin was distracted by Omos. Lashley speared him and eliminated him. Theory then hit Lashley with the belt and tried to brag to Omos, but Omos grabbed him and stood him up on the announce table and then choke slammed him through it. Before he could do it, though, Rollins stopped Omos. Or no, so he didn't actually do the choke slam through. He got stopped by Seth Rollins before Theory just got knocked down. He didn't actually get choke slammed through the table. He got knocked off the table, I guess. Rollins would then super kick MVP off the apron and would go for the stomp on Lashley, but instead would be speared. Lashley would pin him 1, 2, 3. Lashley becomes the new number 1 contender to the United States Championship, and next week will face Theory for the WWE United States Heavyweight Championship. So, there we go. I guess you could say Hurt Business helps Bobby, and Bobby becomes the new number 1 contender.
I mean, I kind of expected it was going to be Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
It was either him or maybe Dolph, because Dolph did attack Theory like a month or 2 ago. So maybe they could have done Dolph.
Maybe. Well, didn't Dolph not get... No, Dolph never got a shot, did he?
That didn't lead anywhere.
No. Hold on. I don't think Dolph ever got anything from that. Let me see. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph. Yeah, no, it really didn't lead to anything with Theory at all. Wow. Okay. It led to like a couple house show matches, but that's really it. Huh. Okay. But with that, guys, that was tonight's Monday Night Raw. I thought overall, a pretty good episode of Raw. Any last closing thoughts?
Like I said, they did a good job of like building towards some stuff for next week. Like they're trying to make next week's Raw like a big Raw, because I know it's the 30th anniversary Raw. I know back in the day they made Raw 1000 a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna butcher his name in the chat, but I'm just gonna say the last part. 1330, you are one of the only people that I have seen that actually like 2K20. So
That was all right.
I didn't mind it, but
it had its flaws. I will say that for sure. But
I hated the My Rise part though.
Oh yeah,
that was terrible. You're getting bullied in high school for being a WWE fan.
It is kind of weird. But with that, or if you guys want to be part of the show and let us know what you thought, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, text in to 510-906-1341. Forgot to do a Twitch poll, but we still have the YouTube and the Twitter polls. So as far as the Twitter poll does go, 70% liked the show, 11% thought it was just all right, and 17% didn't like Raw. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, let's give that a refresh really fast. 73% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 8% didn't like Raw. Some of the comments over there. Says this Raw was cool. I give it a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. Says, of course, it was great. Nothing bad to say. Another person says, great show. People need to shut up about the Vince rumors. As far as the text messages do go, this person says, should WrestleMania still be 2 nights or go back to a 1 night in the future? Honestly, it doesn't bother me either way. Do you have a preference?
I mean, it doesn't bother me either way. If they want to get like all the title matches on the WrestleMania card, then it's probably best to do 2.
Right. I mean, as a fan that wants to go and see everything, yeah. It sucks having to pay for 2 tickets, 2 nights in a row.
Let's pay for 2 tickets?
Well, yeah, you don't buy 1 night and get both nights. You got to pay for each night individually. Yeah.
I always thought you always get like, you get that 1 ticket and you can come back the next day.
Nope. Sometimes,
Really?
No. And like in the last 2 years that they've done this, they've kind of like, I think at one point they did like a buy one, get one half off deal. But still, you're paying twice for WrestleMania tickets if you go both nights. Which is another reason why I'm so like, do I even go this year? I can't afford both fucking nights. So, yeah.
Especially if you want to sit in front row.
Oh, I ain't sitting no front row. It's multiple thousands of dollars. When I went to WrestleMania fucking 31 in San Francisco at the Levi's Stadium, I sat all the way at the top, not all the way at the top, but pretty close to the top, next to where they had the kickoff stage and stuff, like the kickoff show stage. So, yeah.
How much was that?
$250, $260 a ticket, and there was 5 of us that went.
It's not terrible.
And we sat high. Like, if you go to my Twitter and you look at the banner image on my Twitter, that was from my seat at WrestleMania. I'll pull it up here on the screen. Watch. This was how far away I was. No, I've changed it since then. Never mind. It's not my Twitter banner anymore. But, and I don't even know where those pictures are. They're somewhere. They're probably on my Instagram or something. But regardless, we sat far. Watched most of the show on the screen because everybody looked like little tiny minifigs. But regardless, I still had a great time. Especially because I was there when Seth cashed in his Money in the Bank. But yeah, as a fan, like as somebody at home watching, I guess it's cool to have it 2 nights because it's 2 nights of stuff you get to watch and you don't have to watch 80 hours in one night. As a fan going, yeah, it sucks you got to buy a ticket for both nights if you want to go and see everything. Because then, here's the other kicker. Say you buy your ticket 6 months in advance and you go, well, I can only afford one night, so I'll do night 2. But then Stone Cold Steve Austin is only having a match on night 1, so you're screwed and you don't get to see the Austin match live, something like that. So there's a give and take.
Or you weren't there when Cody returned to WWE.
Exactly. So this person says, with the Usos defending their titles separately, could Roman be next to defend his separately? I sure hope so. I don't know. Because there's a rumor of Roman just absorbing both belts into one and then them coming up with a new Raw title. So I don't know. This person says, in your opinion, who would you like to buy WWE? I don't care. NBC, Universal, Comcast, I guess.
I know Disney has a lot of money to buy it.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Disney might get screwed by Florida and have to pay a lot in back taxes. Because
I feel like if Disney
go for it.
I feel like if Disney did buy it, we'd probably get a WWE theme park at Disneyland.
Maybe, but I don't know. But also, if Disney is to buy it, we're probably paying extra for pay-per-views again too, like they do with UFC on ESPN Plus. At least like the major 4 or 5.
Yeah, but I don't think it'd really cost them any just to put WWE on the Disney Plus app.
Well, no. If they put it on either Disney, it would probably go to ESPN Plus. But what I'm saying is, your however much a month for ESPN Plus, say they put the WWE Network on ESPN Plus. Right now with Peacock and WWE Network, your pay-per-view, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Backlash, all included in your monthly subscription. If they go to ESPN Plus, I can almost guarantee you're paying extra for pay-per-views every month, just like they make you do with UFC. But no more $9.99 for everything, including pay-per-views. It's $9.99 for everything, and then $80 for a pay-per-view. Because the UFC pay-per-views, they're bumping them up to $80 starting this month. Next text message says, has WWE taken out the shake effect in Bronson Reed's entrance for whenever he stomps on the steel steps? I guess. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to his entrance tonight. I think that was just an NXT thing anyways.
Yeah, all I noticed his entrance was them keeping his old theme song.
Yeah.
And also, they kind of changed Alexa Bliss's theme a little bit tonight.
Tonight? I didn't hear it. I know they changed it when she returned.
Yeah, they changed that, but they kind of like changed the beats a little bit. They kind of made it like more of like a maybe like a hardcore rock type
Gotcha.
of theme.
Interesting. This text message here states, do you think that announcing Cody was a wrong move compared to him being a surprise? No. I think it's fine. And in my opinion, this may mean they think they may have a bigger surprise than Cody. Because,
I mean,
go for it.
well, Cody's still gonna get a big pop at Royal Rumble, and we all knew he was gonna return to Royal Rumble anyway. So
that's exactly where I was getting at. I was gonna say,
so you might
go for it.
So you might as well just announce it tonight.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. You know, everyone was assuming Cody's going to be back in the Rumble, so it wouldn't be that big of a surprise, irregardless. But final text message just state, I wanted to know, would you rather have the Hurt Business as heels or faces when they reunite? I would say right now, heels. I always like to heel Hurt Business. Preference?
Yeah, I like heel Hurt Business a lot better, but they'll probably have them as baby faces, because Bobby's the baby face. But
well, no,
maybe
internally, Bobby Lashley on the run sheets, Bobby's right now listed as a heel.
Yeah, I mean, I could also see them just having Bobby as a baby face and have the rest of them guys as heels.
That'd be kind of weird, but I can see it.
They did that with some factions back then, kind of like when they did that a little bit with Undisputed Era when they had Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly as faces, and they had Bobby Fish and Strong as heels.
A little bit. But with that, it's going to wrap everything up, guys. I want to say thank you for joining us here if you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. We'll be back live on Wednesday for the AEW Dynamite review. But remember, it's going to start at least an hour and a half later than normal because I will be live at Dynamite. I will be there in person. I will stay for the Rampage taping and then make my way home however long that's going to take. So we will be live on Wednesday. I will keep you guys updated as far as when I get back home and when we get on and when we go live and everything. And we'll talk about everything. I think it should be a very interesting one because it'll have my perspective of being there live. It'll have Luke's perspective of watching on television. And so we can see, oh, the crowd didn't sound all that great during this match and da-da-da. Oh, well, they're live. They were going nuts and da-da-da. So I think it's going to be a really fun one to hear his perspective watching on TV compared to my perspective being there live in the building. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Monday night. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, guys.